Singh, Defence Minister, to brief Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well. The sources in the government has confirmed that the Raisena ministers are maintaining a very close vigilance. The close monitoring is being done by them, and of course Prime Minister and National Security Advisor also closely monitoring every possible development in and around Jammu and Kashmir area. All eyes would be on that particular press conference that is most likely to happen later in a day, and the trio that we have seen for last 2 days, the Foreign Secretary and the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force representatives giving out those details, and whatever has happened in the intervening night of 8th and 9th May would be put out as far as what India's action against the Pakistani troops, taking action against India and hitting India's military establishments.
Aishwarya, as always, thanks so much for joining us with the lowdown and also the government's plan of action for the day. Let's also get in an update from Nazir. Do remember, it is crucial that the government balances public reassurance with operational secrecy. But Nazir, if you can just take our viewers through the intensity and timing of last evening's attacks in Jammu, and also crucially, how are locals coping with the blackouts? What is the mood among locals? Is there fear, resilience? Take us through the details.
Well, it's a mix of both. It is fear, anticipation, and also resilience. In border areas, people have been used to such things, but they had actually forgotten for some time that this can happen again. More so, it's first time since 1971 war, we see Jammu being targeted like this. But one thing was unprecedented, which people saw, how defense forces have been alert, ready, with their best possible equipment available to any military in the world, and neutralize all the attacks, be it on the civilian areas or the military installations. We're hearing from Ladakh, Leh too, there was also an attempt there which has been neutralized. And drone activities have been actually banned in Leh district also by the administration there. But during the night, it started yesterday evening, we were here in Kupara, and sirens started, they reverberated across Kupara Bawal. So then there was a following, it was shelling across the border. But then the worst thing was how Jammu actually captured that people started running, and they, with fear, administration and police telling them, be calm, be safe, don't panic. That was first advice from the administration to every citizen, because for the first time, majority of the people have seen in their lives such a thing happening in a major city like Jammu. And then there were heavy shelling in the borders like Samba, and artillery is being used across line of control, and it is causing damage deep inside the valley, and many people are losing homes. There are reports one woman has been killed in Pakistani shelling when a mortar shell hit the car they were traveling in Uri area yesterday evening. So it has been a tough time. It was blackout in most parts of Jammu and Kashmir, including twin cities Srinagar and Jammu. And Srinagar, we saw it was heard there was reports how there was blackout, there was fear there could be also some attack, but then there were loud explosions were heard near Avantipora. And remember, Avantipora is the Air Force base, and Army, Defense Ministry had yesterday said that how there was attempt to target that Air Force base as well, which was neutralized by air defense system. So there have been multiple attacks at multiple levels, be it line of control using this artillery, or it is using missiles or drones. But one good thing is, in most of the things, Army has neutralized them, and Government of India has clearly said we are retaliating to Pakistani shelling across the line of control to ensure they halt that shelling. And one important thing is they are saying whatever type of attack comes from Pakistan, there's equal and proportionate response. For example, there was attack on innocent civilians in Pahalgam on April 22nd. So the terror sites were targeted in Pakistan on May 7. all the terror sites, 9 sites were
Right.
terror sites, which government has been repeatedly saying. Then there were drone attacks and the missile attacks from Pakistan yesterday. There was an equal and proportionate response, and Pakistan's air defense system was damaged, was hit by Indian drones in Lahore, which Pakistan DGISPR has admitted that their military installation was hit and equipment was damaged without naming. It was their air defense system, and 4 soldiers, which he said, were also injured in that attack. So it is a dynamic situation, very complex situation, very tough situation. It is a war-like situation, even as war has not been declared. But people are hoping that there should be some de-escalation. But one thing clearly, everybody knows that, and Government of India has clearly said, escalation started on April 22nd when there was a terrorist attack in Pahalgam when innocents were killed. And they're saying Pakistan has to be irrevocably abandon terror, and which is also linked to India's decision of keeping Indus Water Treaty in absence, in a sense, suspending Indus Water Treaty, which has actually hurt Pakistan the most and their interest in everything. So it is a situation we see even in this morning. There was, drone attacks near Jammu
Yes.
early morning at around 4. They too have been neutralized by the air defense system.
Nazir, as always, thank you so much for joining us with the finer developments from Ground Zero. As you are highlighting, it is unprecedented to see how defense forces have been so alert and ready with the appropriate equipment. But I must also inform our viewers that a complete blackout was imposed in Jammu earlier today, following sirens and reported explosions near the line of control in the Poonch and Rajouri districts amid escalating tensions. Meanwhile, the Border Security Force successfully thwarted a significant infiltration attempt along the international boundary in the Samba district on the night of 8th of May. And according to a statement posted by the BSF in Jammu, this attempt occurred around 11 p.m. But for the latest regarding Rajouri and Poonch and the explosions here that were heard near the line of control, we will, of course, get you the latest from Ground Zero with my colleagues Shiv Arur and Nazir Masoodi in a short while from now. With that, let's turn our attention now to border states. Nightly blackouts, curfews, and mass leave cancellations for medical and security personnel have been imposed as Punjab, Rajasthan, and Gujarat fortified their Pakistan frontier. Rajasthan imposed power blackouts for the second consecutive night across Jaisalmer, Barmer, Bikaner, Sri Ganganagar, and Jodhpur, adjusting the time from the previous midnight to 4 a.m. schedule to a new window of 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. In fact, nightly blackouts are not only on in Rajasthan, they are on in Punjab as well, as border states are in emergency mode. To get in a quick update from Punjab, let's go across to my colleague Gurpreet Singh Chinna, who's been tracking all the latest developments. Gurpreet, take us through the precautions that locals have been advised to take in Punjab and what's the current situation in the border state?
Well, the current situation is very calm, and first of all, I'll request my vijay to show all these images from ground. We are reporting from this Firozpur city where we have seen the people are doing their routine chores and people are following the routine the way they have been following every day. But we have seen last night when we have seen a lot of drones and missile attack which has been carried out at the various locations of the country. But we have seen here in Punjab the concentration was on Pathankot military station. The moment there was that attempt which was made by Pakistan, immediately we have seen all the deputy commissioner of the border area, they had already asked to conduct this blackout in the various locations of Punjab. What we have seen last night, there was a proper coordination and proper plan which was executed with the help of the forces as well as the local administration. There was no panic which has been observed and reported from any districts of Punjab. And if we can talk about these border districts, we have seen the people, they stood by our forces, they were monitoring the situation. Immediately when any alert and any advisory had been given to the people in the border area, immediately they had followed all the directions and guidelines which has been issued by the local administration. What we have learned, all the schools have already been shut down in the border area for the last 2 days, and they have already extended these holidays in all the schools so that the situation should be calm. What we have seen, the main concentration had been observed in Jalandhar, where we have seen multiple drone attack was attempted by Pakistan, but we have seen the confidence instilled in all the residents of Punjab the moment these drone attacks were being neutralized. Not only we have seen that blackout has been observed and reported in the border area. We have seen even in Chandigarh that blackout had been imposed immediately. But we have seen with the proper coordination of the people, we have seen that the deputy commissioner of all the district, they keep on informing the people so that there should not be panic in any of the districts in Punjab. So we have seen a lot of precaution which had already been initiated by the Punjab government. The moment they learned there was an attempt on the military station in Pathankot, immediately the whole border area was very alert and civil administration was totally in touch with the forces, and that was one of the reasons why there was no panic among the people in the state of Punjab. As I have already told you, the schools have already been shut down, not only the border area. We have seen in Chandigarh also, in Mohali also, and in the nearby areas of capital Chandigarh, they have decided to shut down all the schools, because we have seen when our defense forces, they were conducting analysis, they have also learned most of military station in Punjab that was on the target of Pakistan, and we have seen these attacks which had been attempted by Pakistan, they were being neutralized by our sophisticated defense system, and that has already instilled a lot of confidence among the people of Punjab. If we can talk about this Firozpur border, we have been moving from one village to another village to just to understand the sense of the people. The people here, they say we have already shifted our children and women to a safer place, but we are with the forces, and some of the villagers, they say they have their own equipment, whether it's the tractor, trolleys, and if it is required, they will definitely go shoulder to shoulder with our forces so that these tractors and trolleys will be used to save our country. So if we can talk about the Firozpur area, we have seen multiple mock drills are being carried out multiple times. There were the one-to-one contact program which is being carried out by the civil administration, so that the moment there will be any siren, the people will be able to understand what will be the next step which they are supposed to take. So as of now in Punjab, we have seen there was no loss which has been reported from any area. Yes, yes, we have seen there was a huge concentration by Pakistan at the military station of Jalandhar, that we have seen multiple drone attack had been reported from there, but what we have seen, these all drones attack had been neutralized by our sophisticated defense system, and we have seen no panic has been reported from any districts of Punjab. Back to studio.
Well, Gurpreet, as always, thank you so much for clearing the air live from Firozpur's border. We will, of course, revert to you for regular updates to take stock of the situation in Punjab. Meanwhile, the Civil Aviation Ministry informed that 24 airports are closed for civil flight operations as of Thursday evening amid escalating tensions between India and Pakistan, which soared further last evening, as we have been extensively reporting. Well, among the airports closed in India for civil flight operations were Chandigarh, Srinagar, Jaisalmer, Shimla, and a few others. In fact, for further details, let's go across to my colleague Tanushka Datta, who's been tracking the latest as far as Civil Aviation Ministry is concerned. Tanushka, as you've been reporting, 24 airports are shut for civil flights?
Precisely, Parmeshwar. Late last evening, the Aviation Ministry issued notice. It is notice for airmen for closure of 24 airports. But it is important to note that this is just for civil flight operations. And this, these airports will be closed until 10th of May, that is tomorrow. This is so far what we know, and this is, of course, the entire extensive list of airports is that of Chandigarh, Srinagar, Amritsar, Ludhiana, Bhuntar, Kishangarh, Patiala, Shimla, Kangra, Bhatinda, Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, Bikaner, Halwara, Pathankot, Jammu, Leh, Mundra, Jamnagar, Rajkot, Porbandar, Kesod, Kandla, and Bhuj. In advisories to passengers, several airlines have said that their flights would remain suspended until Saturday. And some of these, of course, all the airlines the internal carriers that we have, that of Indigo Airlines has cancelled 168 flights yesterday, while Air India cancelled around 70 flights on May 7th and another 60 yesterday. Air India Express is also had similar number of cancellations, and these are flights to and fro Amritsar, close to Lahore, New Delhi, because of these closure of these airports. Now, all of these airlines have maintained that affected customers are eligible for a one-time rescheduling waiver or full refunds. As far as foreign carriers are concerned, Qatar Airways has said that it has temporarily suspended flights to Pakistan due to the closure of Pakistani airspace. Virgin Atlantic also maintains that they are avoiding Pakistani airspace, resulting in some pre-planned rerouting of their London to Delhi flights. Now, as far as Delhi airport is concerned, as of yesterday, as per sources what we know, there were domestic departure cancellations that of 46 flights. Domestic arrivals cancellations were that of 33 flights. International departures were cancelled of 5 flights. And international arrival was cancelled of 6 flights. So naturally, air travel across northern and western India has come to a halt, but this is just as a precautionary measure for the safety and security of travelling passengers at large. Back to you.
Anushka, as always, thanks so much for joining us with the latest and clarifying the details for us. By the way, there has been a pivotal overnight development in international support for India in its fight against terrorism. In the latest, our Foreign Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, spoke with US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, emphasizing that India's response will be measured and targeted, yet firm against any Pakistani escalation during a call late last evening. Separately, Washington has issued a strong warning to Pakistan: cease support for terrorist groups. In a concurrent call with Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Mr. Rubio reiterated the US's demand that Pakistan must take concrete steps to end all support for terrorist organizations. He also urged immediate de-escalation, as we have been covering. India has welcomed US support, even though tensions currently remain high. Meanwhile, US Vice President J.D. Vance has issued a bold statement underscoring that the India-Pakistan situation, in his words, is fundamentally none of our business, and I'm quoting him here. Arjun has been tracking all the international developments coming in. He joins us over the phone line at the moment. Arjun, while Marco Rubio has spoken to both Dr. Jaishankar and Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, we're given to understand there was a slight difference in semantics. If you could just take our viewers through the finer details.
Most certainly, that's absolutely correct. To put things in perspective here, there's been a major overnight development, as you said, in growing international support, of course, for India and its fight against terrorism. Now, late Thursday evening, A.M. Jaishankar spoke with his counterpart, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, over the phone. Now, during this call, very interestingly, Jaishankar has made it clear that while India's response to the recent attacks will be measured and carefully targeted, it will also be firm and uncompromising where it, in fact, comes to any further escalation. Not only this, I'm reading right now from the U.S. Department of State's press release. It also mentions the Secretary reiterated his condolences for the horrific terror attack in Pahalgam and reaffirmed the United States' commitment to work with India in its fight with terrorism. In fact, and this is not the only call that Rubio was in. In another, in fact, phone call held around the same time, the time when Pakistan attempted to strike India again, Rubio spoke directly, in fact, with Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. He repeated America's long-standing demand that Islamabad and Pakistan must take real, visible steps to end any form of support or shelter for terrorist groups operating in the region. He also called on immediate steps to reduce tensions to avoid further conflict. While India has welcomed this message of support from the U.S., the situation remains extremely tense, as we've been showing. And these high-level calls, as I said, came after Pak launched another wave of attempted missile and drone attacks Thursday evening. The targets, in fact, were Indian military and civilian sites across several border states. These include Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan, as well as Gujarat. Now, amid these developments, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has also weighed in with a significant statement. He's essentially reaffirmed India's long-standing policy of handling Pakistan on its own term at a time and place of its choosing. Now, Vance has said that the ongoing conflict, and in his words, is fundamentally none of our business, or Washington's business.
As always, Arjun, thanks so much for joining us with the latest. Slipping into a very quick commercial break for now. Back in a moment with the latest updates for you. Stay tuned.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
The Indian Defence Forces neutralized missile and drone attacks on military stations in Jammu, Pathankot and Udhampur carried out by Pakistan. A complete blackout was imposed in Jammu early today following sirens and reported explosions near the line of control in the Poonch and Rajouri districts amid escalating tension. Border states are on emergency mode. There are nightly blackouts in parts of Punjab and Rajasthan. The Border Security Force have foiled an infiltration bid in Jammu and Kashmir's Samba along the international border with Pakistan last evening amid massive drone and missile attacks from Pakistan.
More news that matters.
Big exclusive. Tulsi Gabbard gunned down by Pakistan-backed cowards.
When you interact with people on ground, you're able to reflect their sentiments much better.
More debates that shake the system. More exclusives you won't find anywhere else. Not just another prime time. It's a prime time that's unmissable.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years. I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti, also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
India's IT capital is always bustling. A city full of startups, stories and surprises. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz. If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters.
Welcome back. Well, India foiled the second Pakistan attack in 24 hours. The Indian Defence Forces confirmed that they neutralized missile and drone attacks on military stations in Jammu, Pathankot and Udhampur that were carried out by Pakistan. In fact, the Defence Services, their post by the Integrated Defence Services on X, it read that military stations of Jammu, Pathankot and Udhampur in proximity to the international boundary in Jammu and Kashmir targeted by Pakistan using missiles and drones. This was a bid to target Indian military bases. Jammu, Udhampur and Pathankot were targeted, but India successfully managed to crush all of Pakistan's attempts. Now, to take this further and for further clarity on the current situation, joining us on the broadcast at the moment, Major General Professor G.G. Dwivedi, who's also a defense expert. We also have with us strategic affairs expert Dr. Brahma Chalani. Gentlemen, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Major General Dwivedi, to you first. Sir, with India's response so far, would you argue that Indian forces are now prepared for a prolonged period of heightened alert, especially in the Northwestern Command?
Well, I think when India undertook this operation, we were prepared for all eventualities because this time the game is different. It's no more rap on the knuckles. It actually means business, that is to deter Pakistan. And if it doesn't get deterred, then defeat its proxy war design. So to that extent, I think this operation is actually well thought through, well calibrated with very clear political intent. And when you undertake such an operation, you have to be prepared for the escalation ladder. And right now, I think we are at about level 3, because when India went in for the strike against the terrorist outfits in Pakistan, you could take it at level 1. And Pakistan response, which are more onto the civilian and the military infrastructure, is level 2, and now India has responded very befittingly, foiling Pakistan design. I think we are about level 3, and this could further escalate. But point I'm trying to make is that as far as India is concerned, until it is able to achieve its political intent through very calibrated military means, this is not going to stop anytime soon. And as far as Pakistan is concerned, having fought Pakistan in 1971, having good deep insight into their generalship, well, they are very irrational. And there's a history of it, right from Ayub Khan, Yahya Khan, Musharraf, and I think Asim Muniri, same stable. They don't actually act rationally. They first act and think later. So I think that sense of bravado with the Pakistan army would be there, but as soon they will realize that they are taking very heavy penalty, and that's what they won't be prepared for. And my last point is Pakistan army doesn't want to fight a direct war. For them, the proxy war actually is the best option they feel because it's low cost and inflict maximum dividend. But the issue is this time, I think India is not going to stop it at that. It's going to be going deeper, further, and we are prepared, I think, as a nation because it's whole of the nation approach. It's not only defense forces, all the defense forces. It's also economically we hit them hard. Politically, we are isolating them internationally. So I think it's a whole nation war. And until India achieves its laid down aims, both political and military, I don't think this is going to come to an end anytime soon. Over to you.
Dr. Chelani, meanwhile, how significant is the Indian Navy's engagement in the Arabian Sea in terms of deterrence signaling?
Well, so far we have seen largely in air war with missiles and drones, though they are these artillery duels that are being waged. The ceasefire has virtually collapsed along the line of control. But we are seeing the use of missiles and drones by both sides to target military and other facilities across the international border. But so far, India has not employed its naval power. It's positioning its navy to potentially engage with Pakistan to impose costs on Pakistan because India has the naval power to choke Pakistan, to block the sole major port of Pakistan, which is Karachi. But at the moment, India is not really pressing its naval power, but positioning the Navy to impose punitive costs.
Right. Dr. Chelani, I sincerely apologize. I'm cutting you through, but we have breaking news coming in at the moment. There's a high-level meeting shortly as India-Pakistan tensions escalate. There's a meeting that is going to take place in a short while from now in the Defense Ministry. The Defense Minister is to meet the Tri-Services Chief, and the CDS is also to be a part of this meeting. This is a developing breaking news story we're tracking at the moment, but information coming in regarding a high-level meeting that is to take place in just a short while from now. The meeting is in the Defense Ministry, where the Defense Minister is expected to meet the Tri-Services Chief, and the CDS is also to be part of this meeting. Major General Dwivedi, with all that you've seen since last evening, would you say that India's response is a textbook demonstration of our integrated air defense, whether it's from detection to interception?
Yes, absolutely, because India's air defense has come into play in a big way. Because in the modern warfare, air comes first into action, and a lot of tools and techniques are used. Primarily, air domination is very important in today's warfare, and should it escalate, the air domination will play a major role. And how you dominate the air, you take out the opponent's air defense assets. Because if the air defense assets are knocked out or degraded, then you gain high degree of air domination. And that's exactly what is going on. Because once you have air domination, then if at all you have to take ground operations, then it becomes very, very, I think, effective. Because ground operation without air domination are very difficult to execute and success is not assured. But when you have air domination, then ground operation can also go in. But for time being, there's no movement on the ground. And that's a very clear indication that escalation is controlled. But moment the ground forces start to move, that means it is escalation is actually at a very high level. So all I can say is air war is very important as a prelude to any major operation. And secondly, naval forces, they project the naval power. Projection is a very big signal because before they come into action, the naval power projects itself and the air power dominates. That's where the ground operation then are executed. Over to you.
Right. Meanwhile, Dr. Chelani, then what message would you say India has sent by deploying S-400s and Harpy drones? Is this a clear shift to preemptive and technologically superior response?
India has not just deployed air defense systems. It is proactively knocking out Pakistan's communications and air defense systems. It has managed to knock out these systems in critical cities. For example, Lahore is one example where both communications and air defense systems were knocked off by India. The message that India is delivering to Pakistan is that it can no longer expect to target Indians with impunity, and that India will henceforth hold Pakistan accountable for the cross-border terrorism that it engages in. And I think the more fundamental thing is this, that this Operation Sindoor by India represents a paradigm shift in India's strategic posture toward Pakistan. Thus far, under successive governments, India allowed Pakistan to essentially escape scot-free for orchestrating cross-border terrorist attacks. Even when national symbols of power, like the Indian Parliament and the Red Fort, were attacked, or when the massacre in Mumbai occurred in 2008, or when Pathankot Air Base was attacked, India did not impose tangible costs on Pakistan. Now, for the first time, India has hit Pakistani military facilities, and in fact, Operation Sindoor began with the largest aerial assault on Pakistan in more than half a century. The previous aerial assault on Pakistan occurred in 1971 war. So Operation Sindoor, from the word go, has represented a dramatic shift in India's policy and posture towards Pakistan, and more is to come, because this fight against Pakistani cross-border terrorism will not be a short battle. It will be a prolonged battle. It will require political will on India's part, and that will be the critical determinant whether Operation Sindoor will succeed in a manner that Pakistan ceases to pursue cross-border terrorism.
Right, Dr. Chelani, also, meanwhile, right, I'm told we have breaking news coming in regarding further details about the meeting that is to be held in the Defense Ministry shortly. Gentlemen, do hold on with us. Aishwarya is joining us with further details regarding the Defense Minister's meeting with the Tri-Services Chief. Aishwarya, what details can you disclose to our viewers? We are given to understand that the CDS is also going to be part of this meeting.
Well, very shortly, there is a high-level meeting that has been called at Ministry of Defense. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh will be briefed by CDS along with the three service chiefs at the Ministry of Defense, and it would be the DG BSF on the other side would be also meeting Home Minister Amit Shah very shortly as well. They will be briefed about the recent developments that have taken place on the intervening night of 8th and 9th. But let me quickly show you these visuals from Ministry of Defense over here at the Raisina Hill. There will be shortly the movement that will take place. Of course, the security has already been tightened at the Raisina Hill at the Ministry of Defense. A high-level meeting is going to be taking place. It's Defense Minister Rajnath Singh who would be briefed about the developments that have taken place overnight along with the line of control and the the international border. We have been also told that post these briefings of Defence Minister and the Home Minister, it would be Prime Minister Narendra Modi who would be briefed about the developments as well. It is, remember, the infiltration bid that was foiled by the BSF in Samba sector late night. The BSF DG was also connected to the Home Minister last night as well, and the Home Minister and Defence Minister, we have been told, overnight was very closely monitoring each and every situation, and this morning the high level meetings will begin. Of course, it will be Defence Minister Rajnath Singh who would be briefed by the CDS, three service chiefs, about the developments that Indian armed forces have taken the action against the Pakistani bid to infiltrate, and also the Pakistani troops hitting missiles and drones towards the Indian territory. Remember the tweet that just came in from the Indian Army about the statement that they gave about India taking a position to safeguard India's territorial sovereignty, and it is, of course, all of these details that would be given to Defence Minister Rajnath Singh.
Aishwarya, as always, thanks so much for joining us with the breaking news information coming in. All eyes will be on that crucial meeting that's supposed to take place in a short while from now. We will, of course, revert to you for regular updates. Meanwhile, we have further breaking news coming in at the moment regarding numerous ceasefire violations by Pakistan. In fact, Pakistan Armed Forces launched multiple attacks using drones and other munitions along the entire western border on the intervening night of 8th and 9th of May. The army has reacted to Pakistan's escalation. The army has confirmed that there were multiple attacks along the western border. The attacks were using drones and munitions, and there were numerous ceasefire violations by Pakistan. But I must also crucially inform our viewers that the army has confirmed that the drone attacks were effectively repulsed. The army says they remain committed to safeguarding the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our nation, and all nefarious designs will be responded with force. This is what the army is saying regarding the latest ceasefire violations by Pakistan. The Pakistan Armed Forces had launched multiple attacks using drones and other munitions along the entire western border on the intervening night of 8th and 9th of May. In fact, I can disclose to our viewers that army sources have informed us that Pakistan's troops also resorted to numerous ceasefire violations along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. This is the breaking news information we're tracking currently on NDTV 24/7. This is a developing news story, so do bear with us as we piece together the accurate information for you. But I can inform you at the moment that Pakistan's armed forces launched multiple attacks. They used drones and other munitions along the entire western border on the intervening night of 8th and 9th of May. The drone attacks were effectively repulsed, and a befitting reply was given to the ceasefire violations. This is what the Indian Army has confirmed to NDTV. My colleague Shiv Arur has been tracking all the finer developments for us on Ground Zero. He joins us live at the moment. Shiv, as you are reporting, there were numerous ceasefire violations by Pakistan, and the army has confirmed that the drone attacks were repulsed effectively?
Good morning, Parmeshwar. That is correct. The Indian Army, in an early morning statement, confirming that there has been action overnight, as we reported here on NDTV, in the form of attempted drone attacks on establishments along the line of control and in depth areas, alongside those attacks which actually flowed from earlier in the day. If you remember, it was just after about 8 p.m. Last evening when drone and missile attacks began on Jammu, Samba, Pathankot, Amritsar, etc., all of which were thwarted. There was a full blackout all night here in Srinagar as well. But the ceasefire violations have also been continuing non-stop along the entire stretch of this off the line of control. And if you notice, Parmeshwar, this morning, the Indian Army didn't even have to mention specific sectors anymore as far as ceasefire violations are happening, because they're literally happening across every single sector. I was in Kupwara yesterday. The violations had begun there just before I left, and they're happening in the Jammu sectors as well, where things have been concentrated and become extremely hot. Things are very, very volatile. If we have the Army's video clip on our screens right now. I just want to point out a piece of breaking info. That's the first image. That's the first video officially released by the Army using a thermal imaging camera depicting the destruction of a Pakistan Army post on the line of control at an unspecified location. We don't know which sector this is. We don't want to speculate. But this is the Indian Army playing on the front foot, even in terms of information now. Remember, there was silence so far, but the Indian Army releasing officially a video, and I've been told by the Army, this is categorical, this is confirmed, that video depicts the destruction of a Pakistan Army post on the line of control. This is in response to targeted attacks that have taken place for over 15 days now, Parmeshwar. Remember, of direct attacks on Indian Army posts which have not sustained any damage. It looks like the Indian Army has basically had enough, and they've gone after the Pakistan Army posts, specifically north of the Pir Panjal in the Kashmir sector of the line of control.
As always, Shiv, thank you so much for joining us with the latest information and contextualizing the latest updates for us. As my colleague Shiv Arur is reporting, ceasefire violations have been continuing non-stop along the line of control. The Indian Army, in fact, didn't even have to specify sectors this morning because there are violations across multiple sectors, as my senior colleagues are reporting from Ground Zero. All the updates continue right here on NDTV 24/7. Sipping into a very quick break for now. Back in a moment with much more. Stay tuned.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
News is not just headlines, it is what impacts you. And news should never be mistaken for noise. What matters is the reality. Accurate, in-depth and with the right perspective. For over 20 years, I have been a journalist and never has clarity mattered more than now. At Newsnight, we go beyond the surface. We dissect the details, challenge the narratives, and bring you the unparalleled clarity you deserve in a world clouded by misinformation. We are bold, we are direct. Newsnight, for the news in your interest. Only on NDTV 24/7.
How often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is answered, where every debate finds its resolution, where every story finds its conclusion, where opinions collide.
Welcome back. A special train has been arranged to get the Punjab Kings and Delhi Capitals players and support staff from Dharamshala to Delhi after the match last evening was called off after multiple attacks from Pakistan in various parts of our country. The BCCI has arranged a Vande Bharat to get the players and support staff away from the city on priority. Quick break. Back in a moment with much more. Do stay tuned.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru, only on NDTV 24/7.
The last 1 month, if you see, the share prices of Jaisalmer Engineering has fallen more than 58%.
Why are the rating firms calling the debt payments as default?
We have two credible credit rating agencies on March 4th coming and downgrading the stock to D.
Statements are consistently being proven wrong, and transactions are being taken place which are different from what they were originally pictured to be.
The company claimed it would roll out 6,400 electric vehicles. But what it has rolled out is a shocking scam. Funds meant for the project were funneled allegedly back to the promoters, the Junkie brothers. What did the money buy? Not EVs, of course, but a lavish flat in Gurgaon's luxurious DLF Carmelias.
Do you really know the company you invest in?
Well, the big international headline we're tracking, Donald Trump announced the framework for a trade deal with the United Kingdom, the first agreement the White House has reached since launching steep new global tariffs last month. Trump said during an event in the Oval Office that the final details were being worked out, but the deal includes billions of dollars of increased market access, especially in agriculture. This is what Trump claimed, but his agriculture secretary acknowledged during the White House event that many of the thorny details of any future agricultural access have yet to be negotiated.
Today's agreement with the UK is the first in a series of agreements on trade that my administration has been negotiating over the past 4 weeks. With this deal, the UK joins the United States in affirming that reciprocity and fairness is an essential and vital principle of international trade. Furthermore, in a historic step, the deal includes plans that will bring the United Kingdom into the economic security alignment with the United States. That's the first of its kind.
As always, news and updates continue right here on NDTV 24/7. We're slipping into a very short break. Back in a moment with much more.
More news that matters.
Big exclusive. Tulsi Gabbard gunned down by Pakistan-backed cowards.
When you interact with people on ground, you're able to reflect their sentiments much better.
More debates that shake the system. More exclusives you won't find anywhere else. Not just another prime time. It's a prime time that's unmissable.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of maximum city is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti, also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
India's IT capital is always bustling, a city full of startups, stories and surprises. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
If it matters,
India is retaliating effectively against the Pakistani hostilities. India has foiled any attempt to target Indian military installations, which played out late last night. In fact, firing has resumed now across the line of control after India thwarted a wave of missile and drone attacks that came in from Pakistan targeting military installations and also other cities. That's our top focus. Our reporters have been up through the night. They have been reporting every aspect of it with immense calm and great degree of sobriety. Shivarur is tracking the story live from Srinagar. We also have Nazir Masoodi tracking the story. Harsha is reporting from Jaisalmer, and we'll be getting you details from the power corridors from South Block as well. Hello everyone, I'm Maria Shakil. This is NDTV at 8 a.m. The headlines. India foils second Pakistan attack in 24 hours. Multiple Pakistani attacks thwarted. Army says drone attacks effectively repulsed. High-level meetings shortly. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to meet Tri-Services Chief. Chief of Defence Staff will be present as well. BSF Chief to meet Home Minister Amit Shah shortly. Major infiltration bid foiled in Jammu and Kashmir's Samba sector. BSF thwarted bid by Pakistani terrorists. Border states on emergency mode. Security personnel fully mobilized. Electricity now restored in Pathankot Air Base. India has successfully foiled second Pakistani attack. Second attack foiled in 24 hours. This was an attempt to target Indian military bases in Jammu, Udhampur, Pathankot faced this target. Army says that multiple attacks by Pakistan has been successfully foiled. Attacks happened also along the western border. Army has said that drones and munitions were used. Numerous ceasefire violations being reported now. Drone attacks repulsed. Army says that has been a strong reply that has been given to all violations. Shivarur is joining us live. Shiv, I can see Nazir Masoodi also with us from Srinagar. Shiv, I'm coming to you. Pakistani troops have now resumed firing across the LOC, including Kupwara and Uri. But the Indian Army, as it did last night, is continuing to give a befitting reply for all these violations.
Very interesting thing that's happening for the first time this morning. Maria, good morning to you and to all of our viewers tuned in to NDTV's coverage, which I hear has been the most watched right through this very, very turbulent time. Maria, one thing is very interesting. Point number one, in the Army statement this morning, they haven't even bothered to, mention any of the sectors because literally, an alarmed and rattled Pakistan Army has opened fire across literally every sector of the line of control. There's firing taking place near the international border as well. We've just reported about the BSF, thwarting an infiltration attempt in the Samba sector. So the entire frontier between India and Pakistan is currently lit up completely. Point number two, the Army has said that attempts to send in drones, attack drones across the line of control have been thwarted. This is in addition to what happened, what began at about 8 o'clock last night, with the attempted attack on Jammu. The details of how the Indian integrated air defense system thwarted every single one of those attacks is something that's going to probably pass into, the military history books. But at this early stage, the Indian Army confirming that indeed did happen. Third, probably most importantly and important visually for our viewers, is the first video that the Indian Army has officially put out, Maria, which we have on our screens as well, depicting the destruction of a Pakistan Army post across the line of control. Now, we cannot speculate as to which sector this is, where this is, how deep this is, but the Indian Army clearly playing on the front foot in terms of putting out information and putting out proof aggressively as far as how it is giving it back to Pakistan. Remember, no video footage, official or otherwise, has so far come to the fore of what has happened on the other side of the LC, Maria. This is the first footage. It's a tiny little clip, just a few seconds long, which the Indian Army itself has tweeted. I've just spoken to the Army. They've confirmed to me that this is indeed, what we are reporting. It is the destruction of a Pakistan Army post on the other side. Remember that the Indian government and the Indian armed forces, Maria, very important last point, have been stressing so far for the last 3 days that no Pakistan military establishment has been targeted at this time, and that India's, firing, India's attacks, etc., have been non-escalatory and restrained in nature. This is the first time we're depicting the direct targeting of a Pakistan Army post, and that's because the Pakistan Army and the Pakistan Air Force have been directly attempting to target Indian military establishment, and that is tantamount to an act of war. This is how the Indian Army is giving it back.
That's right, Shiv. In fact, the Integrated Defence Services put out some details on X as well, and said that military stations of Jammu, Pathankot and Udhampur in proximity to the international boundary in Jammu and Kashmir were targeted by Pakistan using missiles and drones. I can see Nazir Masoodi continues to be with us as well. Nazir, we believe that Pathankot, the electricity has resumed, and it's what is the assessment this morning?
Well, I'm here in Kupwara, and there was complete blackout for the night, and this morning electricity was resumed here in Kupwara, but it was really nightmare for so many people very deep inside this frontier district, like Dolipura, which is just 6 odd kilometers from Kupwara town, which has been hit, and some structures have been damaged. Livestock has also been damaged. There also, fortunately, there's no human life has been lost. There's in Palsgam area, Chokibal, Farkiya, Tangdar has borne the brunt of this shelling from across the border, and Army has, as they have been saying, appropriately responded to Pakistani artillery shelling. And last evening, a woman was killed in Pakistani shelling when a mortar shell hit a car she was traveling in Uri area. So it is a situation where civilians bear the brunt of Pakistani shelling. All the schools across Jammu and Kashmir and educational institutions have all been closed because of the prevailing situation, as we saw what happened in Jammu last evening, and this morning as well. There were drone and missile attacks, and fortunately all of them have been neutralized by India's integrated air defense system, which showed a robust integrated air defense system. All the attacks have been neutralized without causing any damage in Jammu. But clearly in the border areas, it is the people who had to bear the brunt, innocent people. Many of them, hundreds of people, had to leave their homes. I was talking to a senior police officer. He was telling me about situation in Tangdar, while majority people had to flee from their homes for safety. And the people have been kept in various community shelters, educational institutions which have been turned into the shelters for the people. And administration is trying their best to reach out to these people. Chief Minister Umar Abdullah early in the morning rushed to Jammu from Srinagar, through Srinagar-Jammu highway, even as the highway was yesterday closed because of the cloud burst and the mudslides on the highway. Hopefully that has been restored by now. And at Ramban, because that is frequently witnessing these landslides, this is the only road link that connects Kashmir with the rest of the country. But since the airport, both Srinagar and Jammu airport, are closed, like 24 airports across North India, because of the prevailing situation. So it's a tense situation. Pakistan trying to escalate the situation, but Indian response has been really very robust. not just whatever they tried to, there was a terror attack and it was responded with the attacks on the terror sites in Pakistan when there were drone attacks and their missile attacks trying to target military installations. Okay. There were attack on Pakistan's air defense system, and one air defense system in Lahore was smashed and hit by Indian drones yesterday, which even DG ISPR has admitted that their equipment in the military installation has been damaged without naming their air defense system has been damaged in the strike. So, but yesterday evening we saw, and this morning, early in the morning, there were pre-dawn attempts to target India and military sites and civilian sites. And yesterday we also heard loud explosions in Avantipura, near Avantipura Air Base. All of these attempts have been foiled by the India's integrated defense system, but it's a tense situation in Srinagar. Also, it was blackout during the night.
I will try and get details on this blackout that we are talking about in Srinagar. Remember, the Indian Army has swiftly neutralized all threats. In fact, officials are saying so that there has been no loss whatsoever so far that has been reported. Shiv, blackout continues in Srinagar. Is that what the situation is? Because in Punjab, what we were told was, and in parts of Rajasthan, when blackout happened, it was just for that period from 11 p.m. till 5 a.m. We'll try and get details from perhaps Harsha and Gurpreet, who will give us details from both these states. But Srinagar, give us a sense of is the blackout continuing or is it normalcy now?
It's a mix of both, Maria, to be honest. There was a blackout all night. I hear there was apparently a power outage as well at some period during the night. That's what our hosts here in Srinagar told us. But we've also been given to understand by the administration, like Nazir was reporting there, that blackouts are going to become sort of commonplace in today and tomorrow, probably as India navigates what is literally a very, very volatile combat type situation where you have a terror sponsor armed with lots of drones and short range missiles attempting to create some kind of target and impact. And Maria, that list that we reported from the Ministry of Defense yesterday had Srinagar right at the top of that list. So let's make no mistake, the city I'm reporting from right now is very much a possible target as far as Pakistan is concerned. The fact that that country has been every single one of its projectiles, whether it is loitering munitions or combat drones or short-range missiles or any sort of projectile weapon that they've used has been brought down by the Indian Integrated Air Defense, the S-400 and the Akash and the Spider systems all working in tandem. And therefore, one can understand, given Pakistan's playbook in the past, Maria, and you know this well, that they would want to try and create some kind of spectacle or impact in order to sell it to their domestic audience, because they're looking quite bad after what happened yesterday. And therefore, blackouts are going to become the new normal, at least for a while. It's important to remind all of our viewers that this kind of emergency, unpredictable situation is confined to a very small part of the country. India is running normally at this point of time. A large overwhelming part of India is running normally, but we are a country in a war-like situation with an extremely unpredictable terror sponsoring neighbor. So blackouts here in Srinagar, I think, is going to be the new normal until things settle down.
All right, now to Aishwarya Jain, who's reporting from South Block. Aishwarya, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will be in Defence Ministry shortly, and he will hold that crucial meeting. There will be another briefing which will be done by the BSF chief to Home Minister Amit Shah. So another morning of briefings before we'll get a formal announcement perhaps, or a formal press release which will come from the Ministry of Defence.
That we can confirm to our viewers that it would be Defence Minister Rajnath Singh who would be briefed by the CDS and 3 service chiefs at the Ministry of Defence, just right behind me at the Raisina Hill. And apart from it, Home Minister Amit Shah would be briefed by the DGs of the paramilitary forces. That includes the BSF, the ITBP and the SSP. The meetings will be held shortly. Of course, the DG BSF I've been told that he had stepped out of his residence and he would be soon going to Home Minister Amit Shah's residence and at the Ministry of Defence. Let me show you these quick visuals as the security had been tightened over here as well. The movement can happen very shortly with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to be briefed about the developments that have taken place overnight in the intervening night of 8th and 9th May, as the Indian Army had clearly stated that yes, there was an infiltration bid in the Samba sector in Jammu and Kashmir, and India had reacted to it very promptly and swiftly. Of course, those first visuals coming out from the Indian Army, and therefore the reason it becomes very clear that how the Defence Minister and Home Minister is closely monitoring each and every situation. We've been told that Prime Minister Narendra Modi would be briefed later in a day. Of course, these ministers and Prime Minister keeping a very close eye on every possible situation, and of course we can expect later in a day the trio that had given out details of Operation Sindoor can hold another sort of press conference to give out the details of what has happened on the intervening night of 8th and 9th May. But as Defence Minister Rajnath Singh stated yesterday during the all-party meeting, that Operation Sindoor is ongoing and it has not stopped, and therefore the reason perhaps now more details coming out.
Okay, Shiv, F-16 supersonic fighter jet of Pakistan Air Force was shot down in the evening, in that intervening night that we are talking about, by an Indian surface-to-air missile defense system, is what sources are telling us. And this comes amidst this entire, a barrage of drones that came our way. Multiple cities, and military installations and military, infrastructure in multiple cities being targeted. But Shiv, when we talk about these F-16, one shot down is what we are confirming.
That is correct. Multiple government sources confirmed that an F-16 had been shot down. This was, gotten in from, from the combat info that was playing out as part of an evolving situation. Remember, on NDTV, we only run verified information, but it must be said that even the F-16 information, even though it came in from government sources and multiple government sources on NDTV confirmed it, no official statements of any kind have come in about any of the losses on the Pakistan side or anything else. Pakistan has not talked about it. Pakistan has not even officially commented about its aircraft losses, which in many ways does confirm that it did happen. We'll know more as we sort of step away from this fog of war that continues between the two countries. But the many other claims that were, widely reported by other networks, social media, completely lie in the realm of, not being verified. There was a large sort of carnival of information doing the rounds yesterday of many kinds. NDTV is the only network that insisted on a template of verification, but we do know for a fact that the Pakistani loss of at least one F-16, perhaps more aircraft, is something that we are reporting after corroboration from many sides within the government, including the armed forces as well. And let's also remember one thing, Maria, and this is very important. When Vikram Misri, the Foreign Secretary, said that this is an evolving situation where information is changing rapidly, updates are coming almost on a minute-by-minute, second-by-second basis. New facts are also emerging about what really happened last evening. And so there may be updates in terms of timings, in terms of, what exactly the Pakistanis tried to do. I know for a fact that, without giving any operational or classified details, Indian war planners, Indian, information and data analysts have been working all night. They've been burning the midnight oil, as you can imagine, sifting through the huge amount of misinformation that has been coming in from Pakistan to somehow, not only bust fake news and fact-check things that are coming in from Pakistan, but also put out authentic information here in India. And I think that's the reason why NDTV has very responsibly only reported what it's been able to corroborate.
Absolutely, Shiv. I mean, we have been doing all the checks and balances which is needed at this juncture, and because there was a series of coordinated propaganda campaign which was unveiled last evening, and I can see Parma right here in the studio to give us details of how it was fact-checked by the Press Information Bureau.
Well, Maria, you're absolutely right. In the middle of heightened cross-border tension, another front has quietly opened: the information war. A barrage of fake videos and disinformation, primarily originating from Pakistani social media handles and amplified by some mainstream outlets there, is attempting to sow fear and confusion among Indian citizens. But you must remember, misinformation is a weapon, and during conflict, it's actually aimed at our confidence, our unity, and our sense of truth. Whether it's from the fake drone attacks in Punjab to the false claims of missile strikes and army base hits, the propaganda is being spread with chilling precision. But let's just take you through the truth. Let's break down 7 major fakes that have been busted by the Press Information Bureau just between 10 p.m. last evening, that's the 8th of May, and 6:30 a.m. this morning. Let's begin with the fake drone strike in Jalandhar. It was circulated widely to create panic, but it was a farm fire video, unrelated and mismatched in timing. In fact, even the district collector has confirmed that it was fake. This brings us to the second one, which is the fake attack on an Indian post. It claimed destruction of a post by the so-called 20 Raj Battalion, except no such unit actually exists in the Indian Army. So pure fiction, pure propaganda. The Beirut blast shared as a missile strike, well, yes, you heard that right. A 2020 Lebanon explosion video was passed off as a recent attack in India. It's been fact-checked and debunked. There's also a fake Fidai attack in Rajouri. No such suicide attack actually took place, but the fake video has spread fast, meant to actually destabilize trust and the morale. Also, there's a letter claimed to be from some General V.K. Narayan. But the problem is, there is no General V.K. Narayan as Chief of Army Staff. The letter was completely fabricated. Meanwhile, there's also a bizarre claim that the Ambala Air Base was used to attack Amritsar. The Press Information Bureau has clearly confirmed that this is baseless and malicious. And the one that everyone's talking about, whether there's an airport entry ban across India, well, that's fake. No such blanket ban was ever imposed, the government has confirmed. That claim has been flagged and busted.
So, series of fake news debunked and debunked successfully by the Indian government here, because that's needed. You have to set the record straight. This fog of war cannot happen, and a sense of panic cannot be created among the public. We have Nazir, who continues to be with us. Nazir, last evening was all about lots of fake videos being circulated. A letter, as Parma was pointing out, had also surfaced of some kind of communication which happened between the Chief of Army Staff, General V.K. Narayan. I mean, there is no General V.K. Narayan as we know of, and all these letters are fake information of a Fidai attack. There was also a notorious handle claiming that there has been an attack on Ambala Air Base as well. Nazir, when we look at these fake content which was being circulated online, it was needed to be more of to be questioned, to be debunked, and also at the same time this busting of myths is needed, particularly at the time of the situation that we are in. It is warlike situation, certainly.
Well, let me tell our viewers, even within organization, when I was desk was checking with me, others are running like this, so many sandals and all that. This is wrong. There is no Fidai attack in Rajouri. Then said it is in Bimber Gully. Some people there was comment that too was wrong. So when you have all this chaos happening, there are these fake news factories which are actually doing. One is propaganda, which is clearly emanating from Pakistan. Second is also those who are doing it here. For example, you have Pakistani shelling in which innocent people were killed. 3 religious sites were targeted by Pakistan: a Gurdwara, a madrasa, and a temple. And 2 religious leaders were also killed. Among them is Maulana Muhammad Iqbal. Can you believe that here our own news artists in India termed it someone in Pakistani POK has been a terrorist leader, has been killed. And police has to debunk that misinformation. He is a respected Maulana who is the victim of Pakistani aggression and their shelling in Poonch. He is among 13 innocent people, among them 4 children. two of them siblings who have been killed, but there was a disinformation about that. Then there have been old visuals of the aircraft crashes and all that, which all have been shown. This is part of the misinformation, but war is too serious a business. Military actions speak louder than any information warfare, any misinformation. So the fact is what India has done. It has hit back at Pakistan at the terrorist sites. It's for everyone to see. India has hit back when there was a drone and missile attacks at Pakistani military sites, also in the this air defense system in Lahore, which Pakistan's DGISPR himself has admitted that the equipment was damaged. So this is here. Yesterday we saw what happened in Jammu, or during the night here in Kupwara I was hearing loud explosions not far away, just few kilometers from away where I am right now standing. So it is a challenging situation. And no this misinformation can change the reality. Reality is that India is hitting at where it hurts the most. India has actually neutralized all the attacks which were carried out since yesterday, whether it is in Jammu, Udhampur or in the valley. But the problem is in the line of control, where large number of people have been facing displacement. Their houses have been destroyed in Pakistani shelling, particularly here in Tangdar and also right up to Chokibal and even Dolipora here in Trahgam, near Trahgam. So it's a situation which is very difficult. Let's wait for the official confirmation for everything, and we have been doing exactly that. Unless we verify things from multiple sources, only then we speak about it, and then we are ourselves confident this is the right information to convey to our viewers. That's what we are doing here at NDTV.
That's what responsible journalism is, Nazir, and that's the reason why people are turning to NDTV, particularly in these times when most media outlets are reporting what could be just a figment of imagination here. India has said that it has thwarted Pakistan's attempt to attack sites using the unmanned aircraft system grid and air defense system. India used the potent S-400 missile defense system to shoot down Pakistani missiles that attempted to attack India. I'll try and get Shiv on this because I want to give more details to the viewers, particularly with regards to these unmanned aircraft system grid and what is this air defense system of India. But before that, the meeting at South Block, which is the Defense Ministry, is going to begin any moment now. Aishwarya continues to be with us. A crucial meeting, knowing fully well that how India and Indian Defence Forces have successfully thwarted Pakistani aggression. It's again a day with a lot of emergency announcements which is continuing, and particularly along the border districts. There was a meeting which was chaired by the Prime Minister Ash yesterday, which had all the department secretaries of almost like 7 to 8 departments of Government of India, which included the power and also the health department, two very, very crucial ministries in these times, because there has to be extra beds in hospitals, particularly in those border districts, and also to ensure that when blackout is announced, then actually the grids are switched off.
Well, that was inter-ministerial secretariat meeting that concluded yesterday, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself chaired and gave certain instructions to all the departments to communicate within and also to coordinate between different departments for a smoother work and the governance that is also very important at this point in time. And about the current situation, the directions were given, of course, from Ministry of External Affairs to Home to Defence to Power to Information and Broadcasting. Different directions were given, and specific instructions, what we've been told from our sources within the Information and Broadcasting, to fact check everything. The standing instructions had been given to stop the anti-India propaganda, to also find out those who are indulged in propagating fake narrative, and therefore the reason perhaps we are witnessing since yesterday. The PIB fact check team is working day and night to ensure that there is no fake news that is spread across the social media or at different media platforms as well. Standing advisories had also been issued by the Information Ministry, Broadcasting Ministry, and it is of course, different departments which had been given likewise instructions for taking care of the routine work as well that they undergo. But on the other side, as you were mentioning, yes, of course, there will be series of high-level meetings that will be taking place today after the infiltration bid being foiled by the Indian troops along with the line of control. And the Indian Army had given out that statement that they will do everything possible to save the Indian territorial integrity as well as the sovereignty of the country. Let me show you these quick visuals from the Ministry of Defence, where we've been told all the 3 service chiefs have arrived. Let me show you these flags of Indian Army, Indian Navy, which has just come out. That's the global military protocol that whenever the chiefs arrives at their headquarters, the flags comes out, and it is of course the convoys of Army, Navy Chief and Air Force Chief who entered the South Block over here. And Defence Minister Rajnath Singh would be briefed by these 3 service chiefs along with the CDS as well, and later in the day we can expect Prime Minister to be briefed on these developments as well.
S-400 missile defense system, and that was used by the Indian Air Force to target moving targets. In fact, they were fired on moving targets. What exactly is this defense system? When was it acquired by India? And because India has called out Pakistani aggression, but it is also in a way testing its military capabilities. Shiv.
You couldn't be more right, Maria. The S-400 system, which India acquired from Russia, for a pretty big price of over $5 billion. These 5 regiments of the S-400, also called the Triumph, began deliveries a little late during the COVID pandemic. If you remember, in 2021, we've got, I'm not going to go into the numbers of regiments that have already been deployed or where that, of course, is, operational intelligence. But these systems have really, earned some of their investment back yesterday, Maria. What we saw in the air yesterday, obviously we don't know whether those were the S-400s themselves, but we can reasonably and safely assume that as part of the symphony of air defense that played out across different sectors, whether over Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar, several other cities, the S-400 basically performed immaculately. These are a series of air defense missile types within one encapsulated system, Maria, which are capable of intercepting incoming, enemy targets out to ranges of anywhere between 40 kilometers and 400 kilometers. Even NATO countries in the United States, acknowledge that the S-400 is something that can really spoil your day, if you're a hostile target moving into contested airspace where the S-400 has been deployed. And India has the S-400. It's given India a sort of iron shield over many parts of the country, and I think that's what kicked into effect yesterday. Now, the S-400 is an integrated system that includes missiles, ground systems, sensors, long-range radars, tracking radars that are capable of tracking multiple incoming targets. So it's not just one target, but multiple incoming targets of different kinds, whether they're ballistic missiles, whether they are, slow-moving drones, other kinds of, vehicles, helicopters, aircraft, that sort of thing. And it is able to independently target each of those incoming projectiles and assign the correct missile for that, depending on distance, depending on altitude, depending on speed, etc. And it's an incredible computerized, very intelligent system that is capable of doing many things at once. And that's the kind of symphonic air defense display that we saw play out last night.
All right, Shiv, Nazir and Aishwarya, we are giving you a short break before we come back to you in just a bit, because there is a piece of breaking news which is coming in now, and this is with regards to the movement of airplanes. In fact, 24 airports have been shut for civil flights. That's largely, which essentially means no commercial flight movements will be happening. And this closure is happening amidst escalating tensions. We have Tanushka giving us the details. Tanushka, yesterday we had reported roughly around 27 airports shut. Are these 24 being added to that 27? Overall, what is the number that we are looking at on 9th morning? Tanushka,
This is what we know from the Aviation Ministry as per the notams that has been issued for the closure of these 24 airports for civil flight operations. This must be noted. And this came in late yesterday evening from the Aviation Ministry amid the escalating tensions between India and Pakistan. Now, the full list of airports is as follows. Chandigarh, Srinagar, Amritsar, Ludhiana, Bhuntar, Kishangarh, Patiala, Shimla, Kangra, Bhatinda, Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, Bikaner, Halwara, Pathankot, Jammu, Leh, Mundra, Jamnagar, Rajkot, Porbandar, Kesod, Kandla and Bhuj. All of these airports are shut for civil flight operations, it means commercial flights, and the airlines themselves have also been issuing advisories to the passengers, and these airports are to remain shut until May 10th, that is to after this, we'll get an update from the Aviation Ministry as well. Indigo Airlines has cancelled 168 flights yesterday, while Air India had cancelled around 70 flights on May 7th and another 60 yesterday. Air India Express, Akasa Air, all these other airlines had also experienced similar number of cancellations. However, all these airlines have maintained that affected customers are eligible for a one-time rescheduling waiver or full refunds. As far as foreign carriers are concerned, Qatar Airways has said that it has temporarily suspended flights to Pakistan due to the closure of Pakistani airspace. Virgin Atlantic maintains that they are avoiding Pakistani airspace, resulting in some pre-planned rerouting of the London to Delhi flights. As far as Mumbai Airport is concerned, normalcy is very much prevalent at Mumbai Airport as well. And as far as Delhi Airport is concerned as well, Delhi Airport has also said that they are maintaining and carrying on with their operations in all normalcy. As far as flight cancellations are concerned at Delhi Airport as of yesterday, there were domestic departures cancellations of 46, domestic arrivals cancellations of 33, international departures were cancelled of 5 flights, and international arrivals were cancelled of 6 flights. So overall, these safety measures are being taken in consideration with, the overall safety in the northern and western regions of the country for air traveling passengers. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Tanushka, with that quick update. In fact, this is not good news for Pakistan. In fact, the US Vice President J.D. Vance has said that we are not going to get involved in a war that is fundamentally none of our business and has nothing to do with America's ability to control it. Remember, for decades, US built up Pakistan as almost like a military counterweight against India, and now Pakistan facing increased isolation. Let's listen in to what the US Vice President said, and then I bring in the guests.
Concerned is the administration about the potential for nuclear war between India and Pakistan?
Well, look, we're concerned about any time nuclear powers collide and have a major conflict. What we've said, what Secretary Rubio said, and certainly the president has said, is we want this thing to de-escalate as quickly as possible. We can't control these countries, though. Fundamentally, India has its gripes with Pakistan. Pakistan has responded to India. What we can do is try to encourage these folks to de-escalate a little bit, but we're not going to get involved in the middle of a war that's fundamentally none of our business and has nothing to do with America's ability to control it. You know, America can't tell the Indians to lay down their arms. We can't tell the Pakistanis to lay down their arms. And so we're going to continue to pursue this thing through diplomatic channels. Our hope and our expectation is that this is not going to spiral into a broader regional war or, God forbid, a nuclear conflict.
And joining us now is Rubinder Sajdev, Foreign Affairs expert. We also have Lieutenant General Rakesh Sharma joining us. I'm going to come to you, Rubinder, first, because, during the Biden administration, the US modernized and upgraded Pakistan's F-16 fleet against India. And today you heard from the Vice President himself, which essentially means that even US has decided to abandon Pakistan at this juncture.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems so. US has indicated, Trump has indicated often that, he leaves the affairs of the subcontinent to India. Remember a few months ago, I think, regarding Bangladesh, when he was asked, he said that, I trust the Indians will handle it. Okay. So in some senses, that's that. The second portion is exactly as, what JD Vance says that, I mean, it's none of America's business. We will not get involved. There are two aspects, or at least one aspect, the nuclear aspect and the economic aspect, due to which America could get involved. Though right now they may be saying no, because they feel it's happening in faraway lands, nothing to do with us. One is if this whole thing escalates and Pakistan reaches a situation, a breakup kind of a situation, some such scenario, chaos, and then the danger of the nuclear arsenal falling into the hand of non-state actors, that would trouble America. Okay, I mean, at the end point, let's say, right, without even being used, but if there is a possibility that that's happening. And the second thing is that if America realizes that what Pakistan did on India was, in addition to a terror hit to create, fear and pain amongst Indians, in addition to trying to divide up our country on Hindu-Muslim lines, it was an economic hit on India. Right now, due to Trump tariffs, companies are relocating quickly, some of them, from China to other, destinations, Indonesia, Malaysia, whatever. India is one good candidate, and some of them are planning to come to India. We've been seeing news. Now, with this environment right now, none of these companies would be able to immediately decide. They would probably rather go to, Thailand or somewhere than come to India if they have to decide today between A and B. Now, if that is happening, then that's creating hurdles in the path of what Trump and JD Vance want to do by cornering China, right? In a way, I mean, China is creating hurdles for these companies to move out. Not directly. Pakistan has helped China. Pakistan would be turning to China and saying, "Look here, I've done you a favor. I've created conditions in which your companies will not suddenly move out, at least some of them, right?" So that's the other back and take. But once the Americans start to realize these dots, etc., then they will get into the act, I think.
Yes, General Sharma, talking about S-400, I mean, that's a potent air defense system which was acquired only a few years ago, and it acquired during the times of COVID. And look what it has, how crucial it has been to shoot down Pakistani missiles that attempted to attack India.
Thank you, Shan, for inviting me. I'll also say that the Americans have got great interest in Pakistan because of the ISKP. As you are aware, ISKP still rankles in Americans' thought process on terrorism, and the Pakistanis have been providing intelligence and support, including one of the terrorists which was handed over some time ago. So while everything else is all right, Pakistan's United States interest in Pakistan is not dwindling. They have other issues that to be dealt because of its geostrategic location. Now, talking about S-400, S-400 is a superlative system, and it's an excellent system that we purchased, 40,000 odd crores, and we have substantive numbers. But it's not S-400 alone. See, it is a multi-layered system, but the entire grid has got a whole lot of other air defense equipment like the Spiders, or and there are many other systems which have been deployed across all over the front. It is multi-tiered. So S-400 has got same 4 to 5 regiments that would not cover the entire front for us. So there are many layers being created, and each one of the layers is functional in a different level depending on what kind of threat can be exercised at that particular place. So it also includes electronic warfare. So many of these drones can be, soft kills. So when the entire grid has to be spoken about, and entire amount of damage that has been done to whatever Pakistan is throwing at us, it has got whole plethora of other systems also simultaneously working along with S-400.
All right. Sir, in terms of what you saw play out last evening, very predictable. India was prepared for any kind of retaliation that would come from Pakistan. The point that was made by Foreign Secretary last evening during the course of that press conference becomes very, very crucial here, where he said that it is Pakistan which is the original aggressor here. And the original act of aggression, the first act of aggression that came in was on 22nd of April. And India retaliated with Operation Sindoor. And then Operation Sindoor 2.0 happened because there were attempts made by Pakistan on 15 of our cities. And again, what we saw play out last evening. When attempts again to to target our military installations in multiple cities was thwarted.
Yeah, so Mane, you're right. See, we've been contemplating this issue as to what will Pakistan target in India. So we don't have terrorist camps that they can target. We don't have the kind of a system that they have, like what they had in Murid here, Bahawalpur. So when they start targeting in India, it has to be targeted to either infrastructure or across to military establishment and airfields. It's obvious that you can't touch infrastructure because the quid pro quo that comes across to Pakistan will be totally damaging. Their infrastructure is in proximity of our borders, and we will do tremendous amount of action on it. But therefore, actually, yesterday, when what you said is the first one, which we are calling, I think, Swift Retort 2.0, the targeting was being carried out at airfields starting from Avantipur to Bhuj. And they were all airfields. You know, when you say that they were targeting airfields, all of them were airfields in one form or the other. That they were not able to reach the airfields is a separate issue altogether. Because our defenses were, our air defense systems were better. But they targeted airfields. You know, what happened yesterday night is what they have now escalated to military cantonments or military stations which have been targeted from Udhampur. Udhampur doesn't have an airfield of this kind. So many of these stations that they have targeted are now military stations, and one has to see and watch out as to what is the damage being done or what we were able to do 100% success, because you know any one of these systems is not 100% proof. So there is always a likelihood. You know, if you recollect back when Iran threw 181 missiles and drones across to Israel, and Israel has got 4 layers, including the 5th layer, which was the ships of the United States. Still, some of the missiles were able to get through the Iron Dome and the David Sling and the Patriot systems and the Aegis of the Americans and landed up in one of these airfields in Israel. So nothing is 100% proof, and it's always possible that something sneaks through and damages either a station, even maybe a civilian area. Like, for example, if you recollect, we had targeted Rawalpindi yesterday. Obviously, when you target Rawalpindi, we won't be going for a civilian infrastructure. It was obviously meant for the GHQ headquarters. Rawalpindi is a garrison town. So it is, but it did not strike the GHQ headquarters because they may have been en route some kind of targeting of our drone system. So it hit the cricket ground, the Rawalpindi's cricket ground, and damaged the facade of which visuals are available. Yes. So the fact of the matter is that there is always possibility of something going through. Yes. Our performance has been superlative. Fantastic. Yes. Is a word what we have done on our air defenses, but we need to be.
And this is an emergency situation, as we have been talking about. Rabinder Sachdev, I'll give you 30 seconds because all this is happening at a time when Foreign Minister of Iran is in New Delhi. You also have Saudi Arabia's Deputy Foreign Minister Adil Al-Jubair, who is in Delhi amidst all this escalation and tensions between India and Pakistan. Are they messengers here?
Absolutely. I mean, if not the Iranians, but the Saudis definitely are and should be. One. Quickly, I'll come back to the US and Pakistan, something maybe not much known. You know, last week, the son of Steve Witkoff is the resumed NSA and dealing on the Iran deal and the Ukraine, etc. His son was in Pakistan last week. And his son, Steve Witkoff, is a partner with Trump and Eric Trump in a new crypto venture they've launched known as World Liberty Financial. These guys were there. Eric was not there. Eric was in Dubai for an annual crypto conference, but Zach and the CEO of that company were in Pakistan. They signed a deal with the Pakistan Crypto Council. And they met Shehbaz Sharif. They met the army chief. who must have wined and dined them also. Of course, and the Pakistanis, General Sharma would know, are very, very savvy in these kind of matters. But that be aside, that's something to also think of. That somewhere, so Pakistan is attempting its own games also, one. And then, this is a power dynamic playing out or could play out, Steve Witkoff would have known his son has gone there, though they may say it's arm's length and know this thing, but they've signed a crypto deal with the Pakistan Crypto Council and with Shabazz. So the US is kind of, yes, taking a standoff, and Pakistan does bring several things to the table, even still. Though J.D. Vance may say, we have no interest. They have interest in this region. They have interest in toppling the regime in Iran, which Pakistan can help them. Through Pakistan's Balochistan, going into Iran's Balochistan, inserting agents and whatsoever into Iran, okay, for Israeli and American, whichever agents, etc.
Thank you so much, because there's a piece of news that is coming in. You can see on our ticker as well at this moment, because that certainly is good news. There's the entire operation in New Delhi airport is functioning absolutely normally, and some flights scheduled may be impacted due to evolving airspace conditions and heightened security, but overall smooth travel at the Delhi airport is what we can tell our viewers. Shifting focus to the match which was playing out in Dharamshala last evening, a special train has been arranged to get the Punjab Kings and Delhi Capitals players and support staff from Dharamshala to New Delhi. Remember, there was an ongoing match, and that stadium in Dharamshala had roughly around 20,000 people, and they were asked to, the match was called off midway, and the entire, the players and also those who were inside, the audience was asked to leave as well. The BCCI has arranged for a Vande Bharat to get the players and support staff away from the city on priority. Rika is joining us on a phone line. So, have the players left Dharamshala, Rika?
Maria, the organization is being done right now as we speak. It will take a little bit of time for BCCI to organize the train and get them all on that train to Delhi. Remember, it's not just the players and the officials. There are the commentators, there are the cheerleaders. It's a whole IPL ecosystem that now has to be shifted. With flights not being there, a lot of other arrangements need to be made. Well, having said that, today there is going to be a key decision on the future of the tournament. There will be a governing council meeting that will happen in Dharamshala, which is the home of the IPL chairman, Arun Dhumal. He was there in the ground last night, facilitating evacuation of 23,000 plus fans who were there and who had a tough time evacuating after the lights were put off midway through the first inning. Only 10 overs to be played in that match between Punjab and Delhi. Right now, as it stands, BCCI is also waiting for directives from the central government. There are 14 matches left in the league this season, whether to go on, whether to postpone, put it off for another time. But I have to tell you, Maria, in all of this, while BCCI is maintaining calm, asking all the players and everyone around to maintain calm and just do the daily duties and do what they're being told, there is a great deal of anxiety among the foreign players, among the foreign commentators and people who are involved in it, because, it's not just the Indians who are part of the Indian Premier League. There are a lot of people who come to India for these 2-3 months to ply their trade here. We saw a video coming from a cheerleader last night, and she's also expressed her situation when the lights went off.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Rika. We are taking a short break, and then we'll return with all the news and updates. Stay with us.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
News is not just headlines, it is what impacts you. And news should never be mistaken for noise. What matters is the reality. Accurate, in-depth, and with the right perspective. For over 20 years, I have been a journalist, and never has clarity mattered more than now. At Newsnight, we go beyond the surface. We dissect the details, challenge the narratives, and bring you the unparalleled clarity you deserve in a world clouded by misinformation. We are bold, we are direct. Newsnight, for the news in your interest. Only on NDTV 24/7.
How often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is answered, where every debate finds its resolution, where every story finds its conclusion, where opinions collide but facts prevail, where stories unfold with insights and trust. When the noise ends, the last word begins.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru, only on NDTV 24/7.
The last 1 month, if you see, the share prices of Jaisalmer Engineering has fallen more than 58%.
Why are the rating firms calling the debt payments as default?
We have two credible credit rating agencies on March 4th coming and downgrading the stock to D.
Statements are consistently being proven wrong, and transactions are being taken place which are different from what they were originally pictured to be.
The company claimed it would roll out 6,400 electric vehicles. But what it has rolled out is a shocking scam. Funds meant for the project were funneled allegedly back to the promoters, the Junkie brothers. What did the money buy? Not EVs, of course, but a lavish flat in Gurgaon's luxurious DLF Carmelias.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
More news that matters.
Big exclusive. Tulsi Gabbard gunned down by Pakistan-backed cowards.
When you interact with people on ground, you're able to reflect their sentiments much better.
More debates that shake the system. More exclusives you won't find anywhere else.
India foils a second Pakistani attack in 24 hours. Pakistan escalates and India has completely thwarted all those attempts. Army says drone attacks effectively repulsed. It is India's Sudarshan Chakra S-400 air defense system managed to intercept and bring down Pakistani missiles and drones. High-level meetings will begin in the national capital, chaired by Defence Minister and Home Minister. India's strong response to Pakistan with the LOC shelling continuing. Pakistan targets civilians' homes. Multiple houses damaged by shelling. Residents across India express solidarity with armed forces as life continues at a calm and measured pace across the country. Indian Defence Forces have neutralized missile and drone attacks on military stations in Jammu, Pathankot and Udhampur carried out by Pakistan. In a strongly worded statement, the army said, and I quote here, Pakistan armed forces launched multiple attacks using drones and other munitions along entire western border on the intervening night of 8th and 9th May 2025. Pak troops also resorted to numerous ceasefire violations along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. The drone attacks were effectively repulsed and befitting reply was given to the CFVs, unquote. Let's bring in the reporters who are tracking the story very closely. We have Shivarur joining us from Srinagar. Ghazali is live with us from Rajouri. We have Nazir Masoodi reporting from Kupwara. Shiv, coming to you because we have been discussing about S-400. It's almost like a Sudarshan Chakra, the defense, warning system which was acquired by India during the time of COVID. But what we are looking at today, Shiv, as you head to Kupwara sector again for reporting, is there a sense of, or is there a sense of a possible daytime escalation today as well?
Maria, very much so. I think, things are extremely intricate right now, very volatile right now and tense. Up until the early morning hours, we understand that there was shelling in, several areas of the Kupwara sector where I was until last evening and will be heading back today as well. There is a blackout in many areas of the Baramulla Kupwara sector as a result of the drone threat, which, as the army confirmed in an official statement this morning, has been continuing late into the night. All of them have been thwarted. We can confirm that Indian Army posts and establishments along the border, there have been attempts to attack those using drones, all of which have been, successfully thwarted. But there is reason to believe that Pakistan, desperately looking for some kind of spectacle, or to be able to, brandish some kind of damage inflicted on India, will continue to do this. Pakistan, of course, does not have unlimited, drone reserves or missile reserves. They most certainly used a lot of them to completely zero effect yesterday against Indian targets. But I think the Indian war planners, military commanders, the political establishment, Rajnath Singh has met the three chiefs earlier today. There will be more such meetings, may not even be in person, and they're in touch through their war rooms. But the possibility of a daytime escalation, as you've just mentioned, Maria, during the day to day is a definite possibility. Things are very, very precarious at this point of time, and therefore all options are currently open as far as India is concerned for what Pakistan might do next.
Since Nazir is in Kupwara at the moment, Nazir, what are you seeing? Are the schools shut today as well?
Well, it is raining since yesterday in Kupwara, and amid this rain, many people have lost their homes during the night. And at multiple villages, shells fell on civilian population, homes, villages. just few kilometers from here where I am, Dolipura, there was shelling on the houses, structures, private structures have been damaged, livestock has also been damaged, and there are several villages, whether it is Panjgam, Chokibal, Pharkia, and Tangdar is borne the brunt of these, where many people have lost their homes. Majority of the population from Tangdar has fled from that area. Administration has taken these people to the shelter place, safe shelters. So it is a tough situation for the people. Night was really a nightmare for the people. All schools and educational institutions across Jammu and Kashmir have been closed. Chief Minister Umar Abdullah has rushed to Jammu. We don't know whether he has reached somewhere, because according to Traffic Department, Srinagar Jammu National Highway still remains closed after the landslides yesterday due to this cloud burst in Ramban sector, which is now prone to these cloud bursts and the landslides. So he said he is rushing to that Jammu to take stock of the arrangements for the people, because large number of people had to flee from Jammu borders as well for the safety. And yesterday it was really horrible situation when we could see projectiles being fired and armies, air defense system, integrated air defense system, which foiled and neutralized all those attacks. But along the line of control, be it Kupwara sector or be it Baramulla Uri sector, there has been damage to life and property. And in Uri sector, a woman who was traveling in a vehicle was killed, and 2 other people have been injured when a vehicle they were traveling in was hit yesterday by a Pakistani mortar shell. So it's a very, very tough situation for the people, and it's only escalating on the line of control. And you see the spectrum of this escalation is widening, not just limited to the Jammu and Kashmir alone. In fact, the news coming, it's also the Leh administration in Ladakh has also closed schools for today because of some hostile situation there as well, when there have been some attempt there at Leh also, which has been neutralized as well. So it is an ongoing situation. We are waiting for the statement from the government of India, which they did about how situation unfolded yesterday after Pakistan tried to target 15 cities. And since yesterday there were 2 attempts. One was yesterday evening, and early in the morning there was an attempt in Jammu city also, and there was again massive firing, artillery firing along the line of control early this morning. In some places that firing is still going on.
Let's get an update from Rajouri as well. That's where Ghazali is. Ghazali, what you can tell us?
See, there are 2 concerns, Maria. One, that the deep penetration of drones inside the region like Jammu, Kathua, Samba. People over here were very scared yesterday because we could see the drones above us in the sky. And the second major concern is about the infiltration, because the BSF foiled an infiltration bid in Samba district, in the Samba border. And this is all nearby areas from where we are reporting, from Rajouri, from Poonch. And heavy shelling was reported from Poonch yesterday night. There are reports of injuries, but there is no official confirmation as of now. So people are concerned about this drone penetration into these areas, because this has rarely happened that Pakistan has used drones into these areas and deep inside the city. We had heard the shelling in the border areas, but not in the urban areas or in the city areas, though the Indian Army and the aerial defense system managed to neutralize all of them. But as the sun sets in, this entire area of Rajouri, Poonch, Samba, Riasi, all these areas stay on high alert. The Divisional Commissioner of Jammu has already ordered the closure of all the schools and colleges. Hospitals are on standby, and thankfully there has been no injuries since yesterday night, since Pakistan launched all these attacks. But all the measures are in place, and it is anticipated that all these attacks will continue for a couple of days until Pakistan feels that it has achieved its target. But Indian Army, the Indian security forces are giving a befitting reply to all these threats from Pakistan. Meanwhile, people here in Jammu, in Kathua and all these areas close to Rajouri region are also concerned about this rising tension between the two countries and the way Pakistan is deliberately targeting, for the last few weeks it is targeting all the civilian houses near the LOC, not just in Rajouri but in Poonch and other areas.
Yes, and Indian Air Force used the Russian-made S-400 missile defense system to negate Pakistan's escalation bid last night. The significance of this cannot be missed because it becomes particularly important because remember it was acquired only during the times of COVID, and Shiv, it is it is used by India to intercept the attack which happened, and it is one of the deadliest surface-to-air missiles in the world.
Very true, Maria. It is acknowledged by, Russia's principal so-called adversary, the United States, as being, a surface-to-air weapon that can really, really spoil your day, and convert it into a nightmare should the S-400 be deployed in airspace where you're traveling in and if you're a hostile entity. The S-400 is widely acknowledged even beyond the United States as, as a weapon system that is seen to be very, very difficult to navigate, difficult to jam, very difficult in fact to evade, and therefore countries that possess the S-400 capability are usually seen as having a kind of air defense shield that few other countries actually have. What we saw last night, some of it captured on mobile camera, but most of it happening in remote areas or in high altitude airspace, Maria, was technically the S-400 being used in an operational war-like scenario for the first time over Indian airspace. Like you rightly told our viewers, Maria, a short while ago, the S-400 was acquired for about $5.8 billion for 5 regiments worth of these missile systems from Russia. Before 2019, they began deliveries around the COVID pandemic. There was a few delays because of the supply chain issues. But since then, they've been deployed. We, of course, won't be commenting on numbers and deployment areas. But I think it's enough to say that they've operationalized the shield. Yesterday was, in many ways, the first big sort of litmus test, the trial by fire, if you will, of India's S-400. And there couldn't have been a bigger challenge for the S-400 to really demonstrate its capabilities, because like we've been saying, what the S-400 excels at, Maria, is being able to track multiple incoming hostile targets, engage each one of them, intelligently assign the correct kind of missile, to intercept them at whatever range, the firing computer actually tells it to, anywhere between 40 kilometers out to 400 kilometers range, those interceptions can actually happen. So this is an incredibly sophisticated weapon system that India was able to use operationally for the first time yesterday.
Yes, and it can engage almost all types of modern warplanes, is what Shiv is also telling us, and its radar can track targets up to 600 kilometers away. And one important aspect of what played out last evening and the intervening night of 9th and 8th and 9th, Nazir, is also India successfully shooting down F-16 of Pakistan. Of course, these missile systems become even more important, because S-400, as we have been talking about, it's a powerful radar, has a command center, there's a missile launcher. It is a powerful weapon which was acquired in 2018.
Well, most of the projectiles which were fired yesterday have been actually almost all neutralized by India's integrated air defense system. It has shown its prowess. India has shown its technological prowess, its military prowess, and over the last 2-3 days, and particularly last evening in Jammu and other areas, and Avantipora, Srinagar, Udhampur, and there was attempt to target military bases during the shelling from across the border, whether it is line of control or it was in cities and the air bases across Jammu and Kashmir. But the way they have been neutralized clearly shows the readiness of armed forces and the equipment they have been using, whether it is S-400 or whether it's Akash or other equipment to neutralize any such threats and attacks. And as we have been reporting, armed forces have been ready. As we saw what happened when India launched these strikes on Pakistan to avenge Pahalgam massacre, it was not just one day knee-jerk reaction, it was well-calibrated target, and also to be ready what may follow. And exactly India is doing the same. When Pakistan tried to hit back, target India, there was a very well-calibrated retaliation and also defense mechanism which would neutralize their attacks, and yesterday large number of projectiles, drones, and what they say missiles which were targeted, which are here, have been neutralized. Where will be? We should better wait for the official statement if any of the Pakistani aircrafts has been shot down. There are multiple reports talking about these things, as we have been time and again talking about. Whenever we say on NDTV anything, it is verified, it is truth, nothing but truth. So we know there's a lot of propaganda going on, which we said in the earlier bulletin also, but here in Jammu and Kashmir, also in Ladakh, everybody is fingers crossed and don't know what is going to happen next time. But one thing has given confidence to people, which is that how India's air defense system is working, how it is neutralizing attacks from across.
All right, Nazir, thank you so much. Let me bring Ghazali again, who continues to report from Rajouri. Ghazali, where you are and in the neighboring districts along the LOC, are people assured that the Indian armed forces are ensuring their total security and safety?
Oh yes, certainly. The divisional commissioner of the entire Jammu region, as well as the deputy commissioner of Rajouri from the civilian administration side, they are all assuring people through the evening. There were notifications, there were alerts, announcements being made to asking people to move to safer locations, not to turn on the light, and this was being issued periodically as the developments unfolded overnight. These notifications, these alerts were being shared with the common people here. The public relations department of the civil administration, the district administration kept updating them, as well as the people along LOC, the army over there, the local representatives of the villages which are located near the LOC, they have been contacted every hour and how to proceed and what to do, what safety measures have to be taken. So this is not something, and ironically this is not something very new for the residents of the Rajouri district or all the border villages in the region. They very well know the drill, and thankfully the mock drill was going on for the last 3-4 days. So in that particular sense, we can say that despite all the heavy drone attack yesterday, still people felt safe, though there was a bit of chaos because as I mentioned, that the way Pakistan had launched these drones deep inside Indian territory, even in multiple locations, particularly in this belt of Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir. The people were updated about it. They hadn't seen it earlier in the past many years. So obviously there was a bit of nervousness, but now people are assured that how Indian air defense system had neutralized everything. There was no particular damage in this particular region, but the only concern remains the heavy shelling from Pakistan's side, which is targeting the civilian installations.
All right, Ghazali, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Nazir Masoodi, as well. Remember, Pakistan did try to disturb the entire western border on the intervening night of 8th and 9th. We have Harsha now joining us from Jaisalmer. There was a blackout in Jaisalmer, Bikaner, and in multiple districts in Rajasthan. These are largely the border districts. Remember, Rajasthan has over 1,000 kilometer long border with Pakistan. Harsha, what are people of Jaisalmer waking up to?
Well, I'm here in Jaisalmer, and this is a very busy market area. So you can see that, things are going on as usual. In fact, everybody is, back to business as usual. But a lot of them did see, the sort of lights in the sky last night, like I saw myself. Now, आपने क्या देखा रात को? अभी तो हम देख रहे हैं कि सब लोग अपने काम धंधे पे जा रहे हैं. रात को क्या देखा?
रात को 9:15 बजे एकदम से अटैक होना शुरू हुआ. डिफेंस तगड़ा था, उस कारण से एक मिसाइल भी नहीं करी और ना कोई आजन हानि हुई. और हर तरीके से सेफ महसूस हो रहा है और अभी भी एकदम कंफर्टेबल बिल्कुल खड़े हैं.
आपका नाम बताइए.
प्रेम खत्री.
क्या करते हैं?
माइंस ओनर.
ठीक है. आप लोग बाकी लोग जो थे यहाँ पर, क्या कुछ देखा आपने रात को? क्या टाइम से शुरू हुआ? जी
9:15 बजे शुरू हो गया था. बरसात भी साथ में आ रही थी, इसी कारण से कुछ देर से फटाके छूटे और कुछ नहीं देखा. घर के अंदर ही बैठे, लाइटें बंद हो गई थी, ब्लैकआउट हो गया था 9 बजे. उसके बाद फट ये हो रहा था, पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है. मैंने फटाके छूट रहे हैं, शादी हो गई, क्या हो रहा है ये?
हाँ जी बिल्कुल. इट साउंडेड एग्जैक्टली लाइक फायरवर्क्स. आपको क्या सुनाई दिया कल रात को?
यही ड्रोन आए थे, फिर अपनी सेना की बेस्ट किए और उनकी जो सपने थे सपने ही रह गए. एक्चुअली बात ये है, उनको पाकिस्तान को बस यही संदेश है कि सपने देखना बंद कर दीजिए. और
जी हाँ, so आइए बताइए क्या बोल रहे हैं आप? हाँ, मतलब यहाँ जैसलमेर में माहौल कैसा है?
नहीं, शांतिपूर्ण माहौल है। वैसे पाकिस्तान वाले सपने देख रहे हैं, वैसे वो सपने कुछ मतलब उनके सपने ही रहेंगे, वैसा कुछ है ही नहीं। वो जो सपने देख रहे हैं कि हम ये करेंगे वैसा कुछ सीन नहीं है। उनके सपने ही रहेंगे। बाकी उनको संदेश है कि सपने देखना बंद कर दीजिए आप।
You can see, Maria, it's early morning breakfast time in here in Jaisalmer, and everyone's having mirchi vada. So it's quite a delicacy here. I just asked my cameraman to come in here and show you, भैया। आपके यहाँ पे काफ़ी लोग आते हैं नाश्ता करने के लिए। माहौल कैसा है यहाँ पे? रात को आप लोगों ने क्या देखा और अभी क्या चल रहा है?
मैडम 2 मिनट माहौल है, बिल्कुल शांतिपूर्ण माहौल है, कुछ नहीं है अभी, बिल्कुल शांत माहौल है। रात को थोड़ा बहुत हुआ था, गोला बारूद जो भी हुआ था, लेकिन हमारे इंडिया ने वापस जो भी डिफेंस है बिल्कुल क्लियर कर दिया है, वापस हमला भी किया। हमने सुबह न्यूज़ भी देखी, लेकिन अभी पूरा शांति का पूरा माहौल बना हुआ है। आप देख रहे हो आम पब्लिक।
तो मिर्ची वड़ा ब्रेड पकौड़ा खूब चल रहा है?
हाँ बिल्कुल चल रहा है, बिल्कुल चल रहा है। आप देख रहे हो पब्लिक यहाँ नाश्ता सुबह ब्रेकफास्ट कर रहे हैं।
So Maria, here's just to give you some idea, nice breakfast being prepared here in Jaisalmer, and yes, of course, last evening was definitely tense. We are also expecting that this evening again, it will start. We will have a blackout earlier than expected, so that's going to create some logistical problems. But otherwise, in the morning, it's business as usual. Though, of course, there's definitely a heightened sense of security. The Chief Minister took a late-night meeting in Jaipur. Additional RAF companies RAC companies have been rushed to border districts. Additional medical personnel, fire brigades. So all that in terms of what the district administration and the state government can do is being done. But otherwise, the mood of the people is comfortable, because like we said last evening, we saw a lot of activity in the sky, but luckily there's no report of damage anywhere in and around Jaisalmer so far.
Harshad, thank you so much for getting us that update, a sense of normalcy. People in Jaisalmer certainly continuing with their lives, and you can enjoy some mirchi vada there because it certainly looks very, very delicious this morning. Let me bring in Gurpreet now. Gurpreet is live with us from Firozpur. Gurpreet, there was a blackout in Firozpur, as it was on most of the border districts of Rajasthan and in Punjab. What are you seeing this morning?
Well, first of all, I'll request my camera person to show all these pictures. The life is very normal. The people are very calm, because the way we have seen our defense forces, they had already neutralized all the attack which has been attempted from Pakistan. We have seen it has already instilled a lot of confidence among the border people. We have been traveling from one village to another village in this border area of Firozpur, where we have seen the people say this war, which has already been initiated by the Indian government against terrorism, this is the need of the hour at this point of time. Last night we have seen the main concentration, what we have seen, that was in Jalandhar. We have seen the multiple drone attack had been reported from their place, but what we have seen, very professional coordination between the civil administration and the defense forces. The moment they have learned, the Punjab government, they had learned that there is an attempt to attack at military station in Pathankot, immediately in all over border districts, including the sensitive areas, whether it's Chandigarh, Mohali, Panchkula, immediately the blackout had been imposed by the local authorities. But what we have seen in the last night, there was totally proper communication between the civil administration and the people also. We have seen immediately when the situation is under control, the electricity had been resumed, but they had already advised all the residents to carry out this blackout voluntarily, so that there should not be any untoward incident which happened in Punjab. If we can talk about overall Punjab, we have seen in the border areas, schools have already been shut down as a precaution where a lot of mock drills are being carried out at the various locations of this district, Firozpur, district Gurdaspur and Amritsar also, so that the people should be familiar with the system also. We have seen the local administration, they are already in touch with our defense forces. They keep on updating coordinating to the people of the various districts, so that all the precautions and measures should be taken accordingly. As of now, once again, I'll request my Vijay to show these all pictures and images from ground. We are reporting from Firozpur city at this point of time, where we have seen the life is very normal, and people, they say the way we have already defended ourselves, the way we have seen Pakistan had targeted various locations of Punjab, whether when the defense forces were doing analysis, and they have also learned in the various military station that there was an attempt by Pakistan to attack, but somewhere down the lane we have seen we have very integrated defense system that had been very useful to neutralize all these drones attack and missiles which had been thrown and launched from Pakistan side. So somewhere down the lane, if we can talk about this border area, we have seen the people did not see in any panic, and they had got a lot of confidence, and the way we had defended ourselves, it has already instilled confidence in border area people. So what we have learned in some of the border villages where we have already visited, the youngsters, they have already sent the women and the children to the safer places, and they say they will be with the forces, and they have already brought tractors, trolleys and other equipment in their villages. If it is required, they will definitely help our forces. But as of now, what we have seen, the sentiments of these people, they say this war against terrorism should be continued, and this is the time to teach a very hard lesson to Pakistan, the way multiple investigation had been carried out in the multiple terror attack, and links had been established from across the border. Such nefarious design had been planted from across the border. So let's see how the things will be unfolded.
Okay.
But if we can talk about a nutshell about Punjab, we have seen all the district administration, they have already taken a lot of precautions, and they have already taken a lot of preventive action on the ground, and they are totally in touch with the defense forces. As I have already explained, very professionally, they were coordinating with the people of this district, border districts, and very professionally they are in touch with the defense, and that was one of the main reasons there was no panic gripped in any of the districts in Punjab. Back to studio.
All right, Gurpreet, thank you so much for that quick update from Firozpur. Let's shift focus now from the front line to the power corridors in the national capital. That's where a series of meetings will be chaired by Home Minister Amit Shah and also by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. In fact, the Defence Minister will be arriving in South Block any moment, where he will be meeting the 3 chiefs of armed forces and the Chief of Defence Staff. And other officials will be in attendance as well. Home Minister Amit Shah will be meeting the Border Security Force Chief and others as well. Let's bring in Sunil Prabhu and Aishwarya Jain, who continues to be with us. Sunil, a quick update on the series of meetings which are lined up.
Well, as you rightly pointed out, there is a complete build-up, and every indication is towards a state of preparedness and no relenting after yesterday's unfortunate incidents where India's military installations have been under attack. And as you have heard very categorically from the Ministry of External Affairs as well as the Ministry of Defence, everything has been non-escalatory. We were only striking at the terror infrastructures. That was the focus, that was the concern. And what has happened last night is something that is unacceptable. And it's in that backdrop that, India continues to build up and be ready for any eventuality. They will go to any extent, as they say, at this present juncture. It's in this context that we'll have to wait and watch and see whether diplomatic efforts, the Saudi Arabia is trying to play a role. There are various other interlocutors, including the United States, who are speaking to their counterparts in Pakistan to ensure that things don't go out of control. But be that as it may, on our part, I think the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with his cabinet colleagues, have ensured that there is a complete build-up in terms of state of preparedness, be it for essential commodities, in terms of the defense requirements, in terms of ammunition, in terms of how we will tackle a particular situation. So it's going to be extremely important, Maria, how things play out in the next few days or next few hours, if I may be permitted, to ensure that if there is going to be some kind of rapprochement, otherwise it can go out of hand.
Yes, there is a degree of preparedness, as you said, a great degree of preparedness, if I may add that word great here. And the Prime Minister, Sunil and Ash, chaired a meeting in which secretaries of all departments were in attendance. Ash, what is the nature of instructions which have been given to these secretaries? And they have been told particularly to ensure clear communication and clear coordination with the secretaries of various states as well.
Well, smoother communication with the states and the centre as the governance should go on is a louder message out of that meeting which Prime Minister chaired with different secretaries of different departments that includes Ministry of Home Affairs, External Affairs, Defence, Power, Information Broadcasting. Certainly that was loud and clear at this point in time when India military establishments were under attack from the Pakistani side. Although there are different high-level meetings that will be chaired over here at the Ministry of Defence at Raisina Hill or at Home Minister Amit Shah's residence. But let me quickly show you these visuals as well. I and you have reported from Vijay Chowk. On one side, there are these high-level meetings that are strategic in nature. On the other side, these visuals are also very important. The government employees which are going towards the Ministry of Home Affairs, to the Ministry of Defence, to the Ministry of External Affairs, they have that sense in their mind that what's happening in those important meetings that are taking place at these power corridors, but they are also doing their job. Everything seems normal to them as they believe in their government, as they in their leadership as to whatever the decision the government of India is taking, that is right for the country. And of course, on one side, as I mentioned, there are high-level meetings that have been planned. 3 service chiefs are already at the Ministry of Defence. The employees, these government employees are walking through these through the Raisina Hill towards their ministries to go and work again. They have been speaking to a lot of them while they are going inside. They have that sense as to what is happening, but also they are there to function the governance as smooth as possible, the instructions that are given to them on a regular basis. Clearly, these two meetings are very important in nature, strategic in nature. Defence Minister will be briefed on one side with the 3 service chiefs and CDS at the Ministry of Defence very shortly. 3 service chiefs are already here, Army, Navy and Air Force. On the other side, of course, the DGs of the paramilitary forces will be meeting Home Minister Amit Shah to update them on the recent developments that are happening along with the line of control.
All right. Thank you so much for that quick update. We'll keep coming to you, Aishwarya, when that meeting happens and details emerge from those crucial meetings. A piece of breaking news coming in now because an air warning has been received from Air Force Station of possible attack. This is what the DC of Chandigarh is telling us. In fact, sirens are being sounded. All are advised to remain indoors and away from balconies. We will connect with Gurpreet in just a bit, what we can tell our viewers. So there is an escalation which is happening also during the day. So the daytime escalation is what we were told largely happens along the LOC, but it is happening also in Chandigarh right now. What DC Chandigarh has told the residents of that city is that an air warning has been received from Air Force Station of a possible attack and sirens are being sounded. No need to panic is the message that is coming in from Chandigarh administration to all those. Residents are advised to stay indoors, though, is what we can tell us. We have Gurpreet joining us now. All right, we'll connect with Gurpreet in just a bit, but air sirens now being sounded in Chandigarh as well. Remember, all attempt by Pakistan to disturb India has been thwarted. Pakistani troops resumed firing across the LOC, including Kupwara and Uri early this morning. And this came after the Indian Army foiled Pakistani military attempts to target 15 cities in northern and western India using drones and missiles. The drone and missile attacks by the neighboring country were reported in Gujarat, Punjab, Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir. Indian authorities and in fact the Indian Army used the defense system, sirens and enforced a complete blackout in most areas. And sources are also telling us that Pakistan F-16 was shot down by Indian forces as well. We will get Gurpreet. Gurpreet is joining us now. Gurpreet, so Chandigarh is what is now a possible warning being issued to the residents of Chandigarh.
Well, what we have seen, the local deputy commissioner of Chandigarh, he has already issued an alert saying that an air warning has been received from Air Force Station of a possible attack. Sirens are being sounded. All are advised to remain indoors and away from balconies. So, what we have learned, the local administration has got a tip-off from Air Force, and they have immediately sounded that siren so that the people of Chandigarh, they should be aware of this system, because a lot of mock drills had already been taken place and they have already made all the people very familiar with this system. So that was one of the core reasons why the sirens are being sounded in Chandigarh, because as of now they have got a tip-off from Air Force. Anytime there could be possible attack in Chandigarh, and that's why they have advised all the residents not to come out of their houses and they should remain indoor for the time being. So if there is any input which is coming on, after that they will be able to share with the people, and there's no need to create any panic at this point of time, but need to take a lot of precaution. We have seen even last night multiple drone attack had been seen there, but they have already been neutralized in Chandigarh also with the integrated defense system. So as of now, what we can understand, the Deputy Commissioner of Chandigarh, he has given an alert to the Chandigarh residents to remain indoor, and they have got a tip-off from Air Force official, and that was one of the reasons why they are sounding siren again and again to save the people's life and to make them alert that they should be remain indoor, and there is a possible attack which they have got inputs from the Air Force officials.
Yes.
Back to studio.
Yes, Gurpreet, I will give you a couple of minutes so that you can come live from Firozpur as you break the story for our viewers. This has come from Deputy Commissioner of Chandigarh that an air warning has been received from the Air Force Station of a possible attack, and hence sirens are being sounded. You heard multiple sirens which has been captured on that video. The residents of Chandigarh have been told to stay indoors. This is certainly coming as repeated violations, and Pakistan seems to be continuing with its own version of what they see as this is of course coming after India unleashed 24 missiles in 25 minutes on 9 terror bases in Pakistan and Pakistan occupied Kashmir, which happened on early Wednesday, which was in response to the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam. It's an escalation which has happened. Pakistan continuing to be the aggressor here. It is continuing to target, attempting to target the civilians. It has disturbed the western border, and the entire line of control is what the army says. But all these attempts being successfully thwarted valiantly being thwarted by the Indian armed forces. Gurpreet continues to be with us, although reports are coming in even as we speak of normalcy at Delhi airport. Several flights movement has been resumed as well. Gurpreet is now live with us. Gurpreet, so the Deputy Commissioner of Chandigarh has issued this alert to all its residents to ensure that they stay indoors, don't venture out. No need to go for shopping or stepping out of your homes if not needed. This is an emergency situation, need to be in a highest state of alert is what is coming in from Chandigarh now. We have seen efforts being made by administration across India to prepare the citizens for any kind of eventuality. India has conducted mock drills across 259 districts to prepare residents, to prepare citizens across to, in case of sirens being sounded, what you're supposed to do. All those precautionary measures and preparedness has been undertaken already. Gurpreet is joining us now live. Gurpreet, give us the details. Gurpreet, if you heard me. Is this only in Chandigarh? What about where you are, Firozpur, which saw blackout last night? All right, we'll try and connect with Gurpreet in just a bit. But remember, S-400, which is like India's almost Surya Chakra, has ensured complete all efforts by Pakistan missiles to be neutralized, and all attempts were thwarted successfully by India. Gurpreet Chinna is back with us. Gurpreet, give us the details. All right, there seems to be some problem with that line. Remember, a word now on S-400 missiles defense system, which is seen as one of the world's most advanced long-range air defense systems, which managed to neutralize all the missiles which came India's way, the drones which came India's way late last night by Pakistan, and all those efforts were completely neutralized and dismantled successfully by India. The S-400 can actually engage in all types of modern warplanes, and India had acquired it only in 2018. For the moment, precautionary warnings being issued by the Chandigarh administration for its residents. As sirens sounded off, in fact, blackout is what we saw in multiple districts in India. We have seen in Punjab, in Gujarat, in Rajasthan, and of course in Jammu and Kashmir as well. Gurpreet is joining us in just a bit, but on that note, okay. In fact, residents have been advised in Chandigarh to stay indoors. So air siren warning sounded in Chandigarh. Gurpreet.
Okay. Well, we are reporting from Firozpur, and what we have learned in Chandigarh, we have seen the alert has been issued to the local administration, because what we have learned, the local deputy commissioner, he has already informed the local people that they should remain inside, and multiple siren had already been sounded there. What we have learned, the local deputy commissioner has given an alert to local residents saying that they have got some information from the Air Force official. There is the possible attack can be conducted at Chandigarh, but they have given siren, and the multiple siren had been given there. We have seen a lot of mock drills had already been carried in Chandigarh, so that the people of Chandigarh should be familiar with the system. We have seen last night also there were inputs with the Chandigarh administration, and immediately they had imposed blackout there, and we have seen immediately when they have seen the situation was under control, electricity had been resumed, but we have seen professional coordination between the defense forces and the local administration, where the people did not grip into any panic in Chandigarh. As of now, we have seen the same instruction had been passed on. They are saying there is no need to create any panic, but this alert which has been given by Deputy Commissioner saying that they have got some tip-off from Air Force official, and that's why siren had been sounded multiple times to avoid going out of their houses. They should stay inside inside their houses. At the same time, a lot of precaution have already been taken by the local administration. We have seen all the forces, they are already on the toes. They are totally in touch with the defense forces, so that whatever the instruction the government is going to give them, that should be passed to the people of Chandigarh. And Chandigarh was on high alert. We have seen when the defense forces, they were analyzing things. We have seen even earlier, this was one of the prime target by Pakistan, and a lot of attempts had been made by Pakistan earlier. We have seen the multiple drone attack had been reported in Chandigarh last night, but these drones were being neutralized by our forces, because we have integrated defense system intact. Back to studio.
All right, Gurpreet, thank you so much. In fact, Lieutenant General Arun Sani is joining us. He is the former Army Commander-in-Chief. We also have Ambassador Rajiv Dogra. Lieutenant General Sani, a word on what we are seeing right now. This escalation is happening also during the day.
Yeah, I think firstly, good morning and thank you for getting me on your show, Maria. The first 2-3 issues that I'd like to really put in place. Sure. Undoubtedly, when the event took place and we went in and struck those targets of theirs, there was bound to be a reaction. The only good part in this bad reaction is that they have been thwarted very effectively by the capabilities that our armed forces have developed, especially over the last 10 to 12 years. It has been absolutely remarkable. The second aspect that I would like to highlight is that the action today between India and Pakistan has remained in the realm of standoff weapons and non-contact warfare. It has not transgressed to a kinetic aggression or a contact warfare along the LOC or anywhere along the international border. The third thing that I would like to bring out is that there have been a large amount of naysayers talking about the kind of asymmetry that existed. I think what has come out very, very loud and clear is the capability of the air defense network that we have put in place. We're starting from the S-400, coming down to the L-70s. This integrated system all along the national border or international border with Pakistan, including the LC, has been effective in neutralizing this with the most suitable weapon system. But the point is, the array of radars that we have been able to pick them up at different levels and been engaged suitably by different weapon systems. So I think that itself has been extremely heartening. I think the reaction of the citizens of our country, especially these countries which are the cities which have come under attack, has been extremely positive, has been exactly, I would say, morale boosting for the security forces, because I think they have stood by extremely soundly and resolutely behind them. Coming now to the action as it stands today, I think we would like to see and provide a befitting response. I presume these meetings that are happening now, we will see some action as response to what they did yesterday. But I think if today people ask me, is there war officially, are we